We always say our number one job is to protect our clients more than recovering a lump sum or anything else. I mean, it is our job to work with our clients. We always give, and I say this again and again, we give option A, option B, option C, option A and a half. I mean, we will counsel clients as to what is legally speaking the best course of action. But obviously, jobs are so personal. This is somebody's well being. This is, a job is how somebody feeds their family. It is so deeply personal. And a lot of times, as you're saying, women have worked their entire lives to get to the point that they are in their career. And, it is our job to work with our clients. And, I enjoy that the most. I mean, it can be challenging, but I really enjoy that challenge to figure out a way forward that is best for the client while also being the most successful legally speaking. So, we really work with our clients and we work with them in terms of what they want to get out of the case. And, that includes protecting them from reputational harm or from further retaliation or things that could hurt their career. So, if a client were to come to us while they are still working at a company, we typically are able to getting them some type of monetary recovery. There are instances where we are able to successfully negotiate, a positive reference. I mean, that's more rare, but we have done it. But normally we are always able to negotiate a neutral reference, non-disparagement clauses. So, the harasser cannot say anything bad about the person ever again. And, that is one of the most powerful tools. So, if you didn't address the sexual harassment at all, it is likely that person could continue to talk about you, talk about the fact that, you didn't acquiesce or you acquiesced and then something happened. The person could continue talking about you in perpetuity. But with us, once we get involved in our settlement agreements, those are material terms that, we don't walk away from the table unless there are non-disparagement, neutral references, provisions in the agreement that will protect our clients moving forward. These clauses are some of the most important terms. They allow our clients to get a new job and live free of, the idea that somebody could come back to haunt them later in their career. A lot of industries are smaller than you think, especially when you get to the top of an industry. You know everybody. And with these clauses, non-disparagement, neutral reference, positive reference, you can, live with the idea that nobody is ever going to come back to, kind of get you later on. Like, you have those provisions in place where, somebody is not going to make comments about you. A lot of times, as I was saying, people come to me when they are either, one foot out the door or they've just left their job, terminated or resigned. And the first few weeks will be a lot of information gathering. So this is typically the most kind of, and we're trying not to re-traumatize some people. So we really do work with our clients to, work within their comfort level. Like, do they need to, call their therapist after they speak to us? Do they need to space out calls, talk certain times of day, communicate via email? Or, we really try to work with our clients because, a lot of our cases, our clients are so traumatized and it's so difficult. So, our goal is to not fully re-traumatize the client, but at the same time, the first few weeks, we do need information. We need a timeline as to what's happened, all the names of people who might be involved, discussions of, getting text messages or emails or recordings. So, it's really an information gathering phase. And it typically is the most difficult part of the case for our clients because a lot of times they have to relive in one way or another, like what happened to them. But after this phase in the case, we always tell our clients, we're able to, once we have all the information, we can take over. Like, they don't have to relive it anymore. They don't have to talk to people at the company anymore. Like, we can fully step in once we're armed with all of the information and really take things from there. So I think it does take a weight off after, that part of the case is over, but it can be a difficult, time in the case for a lot of clients.